how'd you perfect that elevator pitch? And if you had some advice for other people who are starting off, who probably don't have 10 different businesses that they're trying to do, but they're
Yeah.
more just like, how'd you make that concise elevator pitch and tell your story the right way that attracted those investors?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I'd say even if you don't have 10 businesses now that you need to reduce down from, you might be in a situation like any entrepreneur where there's a lot of shiny objects. Like, I know a lot of entrepreneurs. I have this issue myself. It's really hard. There's no the idea. You just have to pick an idea and make it the idea. Okay. There's a thousands of ideas. I mean, self storage is just something I grabbed. I could have grabbed five other things and vertically integrated and made it the idea. The problem is I just had to pick one and I had to block out the rest. So if you didn't do what I did, don't do it and just focus on something. Okay. Even though, and it's hard with our personalities. So that's one. Two is if you're starting out and raising money, you got to make it a no lose for the investor, at least for the first part. Just like I did with apartments at the start. The money that I put in, I was willing to lose it first. I was willing to work for free for the first bit. Make it a no brainer if this is your first deal. I didn't know what normal was. I didn't even know what syndication was. So again, I think that was actually a blessing because I went into this not knowing anything and I just created a product that holdings is a unique product. It's very unique and it always has been, but that's okay. So be different, be willing to work for free, give up, your first dollar and your only dollar if needed. The second thing is work with the end in mind because it's all about the story and they're investing in you. Okay. So for example, in our storage business, I did the math and said, okay, how can we make more than everybody else? Well, the answer was vertically integrated. So if we have our own construction company, GC company, and we have our own garage door dealership, and we have our own equipment, and we move it site to site, gosh, we can make 20% cash on cash before the doors even open. Plus we own the property. Like that's a no-brainer. That's a great story, concept. It makes sense. Okay. Well, again, work with the end in mind. How many do we have to build a year to have the volume to do that? I mean, you can't have your own GC company if you're going to go build one of these every 3 years. They're $20 million each, right? So you got to think big. Like, what is the number? I don't care what it is. I just need to know. Well, the answer was 6 a year. Okay. So $120 million a year in ground breaks. I need to have these verticals make sense. Okay. Well, then I thought, then you work your way back. How much do I bring in a JV? If I bring in a JV, how much will they need? What do I need? And then you figure out that number and that's what you work towards. Once you figure that out, then your next goal is peak efficiency. So my question was, if I build 7 a year instead of 6, do I net more per site? And I did that all the way up. I found out that peak efficiency is like 12. There's no net profit extra on 12 to 13, but there is from 11 to 12 and so on and so forth. So that's the next goal. So you have the first goal is to get to where you can have the verticals. The next goal is to get to where you have the peak efficiency. And then during the whole time too, you always want to think of byproducts. Anything that, like for example, John D. Rockefeller, no, not John, he's a good one too, but Henry Ford, when they were building the Model Ts, Model As, they would take the boxes off of, everything was shipped to them in boxes, all the parts. They would use the boxes as the floorboards. And then when they would burn anything off, they would sell it as, I think, like coal or something like that. I don't remember that exact story, but they had these byproducts. I always be looking at things like try not to waste anything. So if you can do those three things on any scale, again, this example works for any size of business, I think, personally. Hope that helps. I know I went a lot of different lanes there, but if you can compact all of this and you're selling yourself, they're investing in you, and you can be excited. Remember, like at the dinner table, my parents were looking for passion, the sparkle in their eye, the change in their voice. That's what investors are looking for. You're going to be more successful if you're passionate about what you're doing. If you're selling something that one needs to be sold and two you don't have passion about, your odds of success are very low. So sell something that sells itself and that you can't stop talking about. You'll be successful.
So I don't want to distract you, Andrew, but stay in your lane, Andrew. But at the same time, what else outside of your lane are you like, ooh, that's a good industry to be in right now?
Yeah, I think mobile home parks are pretty awesome. They're not making more. They're actually being taken out of commission, being redeveloped. So you have a diminishing product. You have affordability issues with the printing of money and the deficits, which I don't see changing for a long period of time. So you have an affordability issue and the wealth gap, which is very sad, but a reality. And you have a lot of fragmentation in the market. So you have a lot of seller financing opportunities, things like that. And then the other nice thing is you can cost segregate. You can depreciate like 40 to 50% of it in a 5, 7, 15-year time frame. Right now, with bonus depreciation at 60%, you would basically eliminate all of your income anywhere as long as you're in active real estate, so you can use your passive and offset active income. I think that's very interesting. So you have basically all the things I just mentioned. You have depleting inventory, increasing demand, and tax efficient, and fragmentation.